How's Rinzu looking?
You mean like looking?
Like, does she look like what are you doing?
Or it's probably just like she's like slowly making her way like over there. It's not like I mean, it's they kind of left on like weird.
Yeah. I wanted to say I'm sorry for last time. Well, I'm after everything, and it doesn't help that I've been on well, some of the medicines that B's doctors have used makes my head a bit lighter than it should be. I feel like I probably said some stupid things.
Just kind of fucking sigh.
But you're here again, so it must not have been that must not have been too stupid, at least. Or at least, well, you know.
Just going to cross her arms. Beatrice told me everything.
And he kind of goes pale. Every. Oh. Oh dear. I, um, I was trying to figure out how I could even start it up. And gods and gods forfend, I didn't think it would be a good idea until I was off out of this bed, and I I'm sorry too. Really, those I presume she told you about some of the other people in our grade that I had in our class that I had spent time with, then yes?
She did.
I can't put the blame fully on them. I wanted not to be an outsider. I want to be excluded from other other people who I was told, who I was raised to believe I would be having to work with, having to be allies and companions with in one way or another. And I hurt a lot of people. But most importantly, I hurt you. And it's not fair. I hurt Beatrice, I hurt Ninon, and I'm sure there's more. I still haven't forgiven myself. For what I did, for what happened. I'm an I'm an idiot, stupid fool. And maybe I can't even be a monster, not even if I wanted to be. I don't think they make monsters this foolish.
To see that you stop calling yourself a monster.
You told me not to, so I spent so much time listening to people I shouldn't listen to. I figured maybe it might be a good idea whom I know I should listen to. He smiles.
Oh, that was awful. So why'd you break it off with her?
It's I. The night that we had spent together. Guilt. Knew that I couldn't reciprocate what she wanted. She was. She was falling. I couldn't reciprocate feelings. If I even tried to go through the motions to do so, just to make her happy or to keep appearances up, I just felt terrible. Like knowing that everything I was going to do, everything I thought to do would just hurt you in the end of it. And it didn't stop me from hurting you anyways.
You guys didn't know?
I didn't want to be with her like that. I appreciate Beatrice as a person. She's a wonderful friend and a fantastic confidant, and she's hilarious. But she's not. She's not you. She wasn't. She knew that. She knows that. We spoke after I started to recover. I know that. I know that it isn't easy, but I have a great deal of respect for her. And I owed it after the hurt that I gave her, and I owe it to you after the hurt that I gave you. Perhaps doubly so. We've all made a lot of mistakes, it seems. Well, I'm not even a black wild anymore, really. Not technically. I imagine my father has formally disowned me at this point.
Should scoff at that. You're more of Black Wild than he ever was.
What does that even mean? and you use people, and did you ever tell Westlin about like anything,
Like, what do you mean?
like your memories of being taken? Did you ever tell him
No.
any of that? Okay.
No, I didn't. Actually.
I never knew any of the things that Beatrice had ever done. None of this. He says, gesturing to this like the house. She and Lynn have told me some of the stories, some of the stories of the people whom they've brought out. You have a story just like them, don't you?
What are you getting at?
Rinzu, all these years that we've been close, that we've been friends, that we've been so much. Do you ever truly want to be here? Was I just keeping you from being who you wanted to be?
You never did any of that.
But I never didn't. All of those years you smiled and you laughed and you but if you could do anything in the world, you wouldn't have been here. You never even would have known me. You shouldn't know me by all rights, should you?
I wouldn't have known. I'd be back in Fangrangu, and with my family doing spirits knows what.
Yet I kept you here. I know it wasn't me. Not explicitly me, but I didn't stop it. I didn't do anything. I've never done anything.
That's not true.
But it is. I kept you here like some sort of plaything.
You made that house bearable to live in.
Bearable. Just bearable. Renzu, you deserve so much more than bearable. You always have. I want to say that I knew that, but I don't know if I did. I knew that how you and the others were treated was not fair, but I just thought that by defending them, by defending you, I was doing my part. That everything was fine, but I'm just a part of the problem. What I was, at least.
Oh, sorry, could you repeat that last bit?
Oh, just he basically just said that he was just a part of the problem, or was like he used to be a part of the problem.
Weren't part of the problem, though. You actually treated me like a person. You treated everyone in that house like a person.
Because you are. You're so much more than just. Renzu, when this is over, I want you to do whatever you want to do, okay? I won't let you be forced into staying someone that you don't want to be. Entertaining someone whom you don't want to entertain. I want you to be free to do what you want, what you truly want to do. Perhaps that's the first thing I can do to stop making this up to you. For making all of this up to you.
Just going to sit there for a little bit, like, not exactly sure what to say. But she is gonna take his hand.
He squeezes it looking down at the bed still, like
You know, you're making this really hard to still be upset at you.
I'm waiting for the. Still waiting on.
See, still causing problems. And he'll squeeze your hand, and he looks up with a sad, nervous kind of smile.
Just smile back at him.
Would you tell me? Would you tell me what happened? I want to know all of it.
Like the recent or
All of it. I want to know how you were treated. I want to know how you were taken. I want to know everything. Everything that you weren't allowed to tell me before. Everything that I just... everything I was just unaware of. I'm done with stupid, blissful ignorance.
and she'll tell him things like because he means like every
Yeah, like
like
about when you were when you were a kid, like what you remember.
yeah, nothing's going to have his mom in there. She
That's
doesn't
true.
remember.
Which when you discover that, he could probably help fill in those gaps too.
I don't think she actually realizes that she doesn't remember her.
I imagine that
Yeah.
that could probably, because yeah, I imagine you'd be able to fill in that gap too. So, and that's just gonna make him be really mad at Liao more. Like, fuck this bitch.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're gonna tell Westlin about the truth.
Yeah.
He's quiet, and you can tell that there's a little bit of rage. Not at you, obviously, not at you. Just kind of as he listens, just an anger kind of building up that all this has happened, and he was too stupid to realize that it, or to even know it. And yeah, Westlin,
It's just like
he knows the truth.
seeing that reaction and stuff. Just
He does a lot of apologizing throughout the course of the night.
and like half of it, she's going to be like, "It's not your fault."
Only half, though. But no,
that
like
was your fault. But about time he listens to me.
yeah, no, he apparently listening to other people is a bad idea. So he's gonna listen to you, and then some other people, but only like people that are proven to be good people to listen to. he's really fucking mad at dad right now. Also, he's got some daddy issues, but we already knew that.
What?
And yeah, but and
The
so
guy who was killed by his dad has daddy issues.
right, weird. And so yeah, the next day, after you spend some more time, I imagine you retire at some point, and the next day, at conveniently the same exact time, Connor, you and Lynn, you come down to the house as Lynn gets back. Weird,
Man.
right? Almost like
Man, it's like perfectly on time.
weird. So you guys basically meet outside of you.
I'm not gonna lie, I probably teleported myself down this
Pro-
time.
And,
Connor.
Oh, also, where's Anna and Ophelia going in all of this?
Where they want, I
Okay.
guess.
I imagine
I'm leaving
Ophelia's
it-
coming with you.
Yeah, I'll leave that up to them. I will inform Anna that Richard has run off to Talam to get her brother back.
Oh boy. I think she's probably still gonna go with you. Because Richard can handle diplomacy with Ptolemites. And she's gonna trust that he won't fuck this up again.
You're all pieces of shit. She'd go.
You do you have strong feelings?
It just seems like what do I know? I'm just,
You just want to hang out with Anna.
yeah. Have you seen her?
I mean, this is a hard one actually. Like, I don't know where she'd end up going.
Clearly, Richard has proven that he cannot be trusted to handle the situation, and she feels she has to go as well.
Yeah, you know what? All right, I'm gonna just fucking roll. Odds we're going with Richard. Evens we're going with Connor. Well, I rolled a nat 20. So evens looks like she's gonna go with Connor. That said,
But wouldn't a nat 20 mean she would follow her heart?
hold up, Sparky. But no, she's going to make it abundantly clear before she is going to be leaving you. By the way, Richard, that she has to still punch you 16 times, and she does not want to have to add to that number.
Wait, sorry, what was that?
What
You
number?
said that-
Why?
Didn't you say like 16 or something, or 20 or something like that?
Didn't you,
You
say
said a
rolled-
bunch of. You said that that you owed, or that she owed you a bunch of punches still.
I did. Yeah, she does owe me 17 punches.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's gonna be 16 because she's gonna punch you one more time before you leave, and then she doesn't want to have to add to that number more. It's not a hard punch this time. It's just like a regular punch.
I just want you to know that I have a spreadsheet for every character I play to keep track of notes and things like that. I have now added a category for punches Anna owes, which is
Amazing. But yeah,
I love
she
these
she
spreadsheets.
she will smile and she will part with Connor because ultimately someone's got to make sure Connor doesn't get himself killed.
yeah, and I'm being selfish and doing what I want to do.
So yeah. Anyways, back and Ophelia will probably meet you back at Brimrad at the affirm time. she has to take care of some things and talk to the rest of the Dark Flyers. But yeah, so you guys are down there, and yeah, so Lynn, look, it's Lynn.
Oh, hey, Lynn. I see you arrived exactly on time. Connor smiles as if this is the best joke he's made all day.
I want to talk about this, but first things first. Come inside with me. I have something to show you since you're very soon to burn all bridges in these cities.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And he will lead him into the house through all. Lynn's going into a bunch of different rooms, putting books in random spots. Until after about 2 minutes of doing this, a door clicks somewhere in the
Oh,
house.
can I have my stone back?
As soon as I saw you.
Okay. Just clarifying.
I kind of wanted him to keep it.
And then he would lead you into the servants' quarters, where a previously store you never even saw has an opening, rather.
Huh. That seems overly complicated.
Yeah. The people who own this house were legal in every standard. It's also why they're not living here anymore. Simple and used as an
Wait,
escape
who
route.
lived here more?
My mom's family, I guess.
Oh, who were they?
Nobody's now.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway, they thought they were clever. All do they meditated and this is the result. It's a full set. It's a to get around Arcanon. But more importantly, if you'll follow me, and he heads down into the tunnel.
And yeah, so you go in like a winding series of tunnels that go like back and forth in a labyrinthine motion. It's pretty ridiculous. But yeah,
And there should be a room somewhere in here. I've only gone in a few times.
and yeah, what's the room? Actually, I'm not sure what room you're looking for.
I don't know anything, so.
It would basically just be like a living quarters hideout area.
Oh yeah.
How
And-
many people do you actually have down here?
Well, we're not savages, so nobody. Well, soon to be everybody, but I imagine we can fit quite a number down here. I'll be honest, I haven't fully explored it. The ones I didn't think I'd get to, I tried my best to seal off. It can be unsealed pretty easily, but we should be able to get to just about anywhere from here. More importantly, we should be able to hide right under their noses. And if you need it, this place is yours.
Well, I'll only be here for a few days, but
Well, from the sounds of it, it's gonna be... It sounds like you're gonna start another fight.
hopefully I'm ending a fight, not starting one.
The Magisters won't take it sitting down.
Actually, they'll probably be sitting when they give out the orders.
You know what I meant. They're not just gonna let you get away with this.
No, from the sounds of it, they most certainly will not.
And so being able to get around the city should be helpful. Unless you actually plan to negotiate this to an end, which I don't think I'd get any more impressed if you actually accomplish that.
That certainly would be a crowning achievement for my entire life.
But in the case that you have to move soldiers or forces or just hide, this should serve.
And, then,
And for you to make a quick and quiet departure for Brimrath.
definitely essential.
Now,
Well, that was incredibly convenient, actually.
almost as convenient as that fancy stone you have.
Yes, it does come in handy.
What exactly? What is that thing?
It's a beast stone. It's a very old beast stone.
I've seen my fair share of bee stones. That's something else.
Yeah, well, how many beast stones have you held or used that are older than dragons?
Doesn't really know when we.
Stops, scratches his chin. Hmm. Well, I guess at least one. So, I'm guessing one of a kind.
No, it's not. And it is at the same time.
That is both vague and ominous.
There's 5 others of its caliber. And I only know where one of the other ones is.
I was really hoping you didn't say that. Is going to be a problem.
I mean, potentially.
You know, you have a way of making life more complicated than it needs to be.
Do you want me to like sit you down and tell you what exactly I think these stones do?
You know, actually, yes.
Okay. Well, the one you're using, it gives some manipulation of time.
Makes sense.
There's a sapphire. It seems to be a shield against magic. There's a ruby one that seems to be more or less the ultimate spear. And the black one, I assume, raises the dead.
Of course, they all have. What's the one you know where it is?
The blue one. The sapphire.
Well, at least that one can't kill us, right?
No,
No
but
more
it
than
probably
any
could dispel
other.
magic pretty easily.
Well, convenient how that only slightly inconveniences me.
Connor just kind of shrugs.
Okay, well. You guys are weird.
I didn't make them.
Well, going back to what I can firmly see and touch, secret tunnels, they're yours. I'm gonna be moving everybody down here in the next couple days. Really, this is all I had to show you.
Well, it's very useful. So
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't fall on us.
Can I?
That'd be a very inconvenient timing. Oh look, I have a story point. No, I'm just kidding. So at this point, we're gonna take a quick 5-minute break. We're gonna get started back again at 11, and we're going to effectively. So, so basically, last minute prep. Is there anything else that you guys need to take care of before you're going to start heading down? You already have people trying to get resources. You contacted some of the people that you think you needed to know about.
I think one of the definite things they have Daisy doing is getting in touch with any people who would be sympathizers.
Yes, she'll do that as best as she can. Sending, making sure that and are you going to try and do the mirror thing, because that'll probably work for a short period of time, for long enough that you would need.
Yeah,
It's-
sure. Let's do that.
It's strenuous, but it's a really cool idea, so I want to let it happen
I'm cool with this.
because it's a neat idea. So if you spend a story point, I will say that all of those things can be set into motion as well, because that's a really cool idea.
I hope I don't need those.
No, you'll be fine. And yeah, so you have that, and basically Daisy's going to make sure that those people are going to be available so that they can possibly hear your speech and go from there. And yeah, yeah. As far as that's concerned, when after a couple of days and after you've gotten everything that you can get organized, you guys depart. And we'll head down to Brimrad unless there's any last minute things that people need to take care of.
Fuck, I was gonna go to bed.
Oh
but I
yeah,
wanted
I
to
should
hear
probably
this.
ask Westlin if he wants to, be there.
Transporting an injured person that far will be hard, but you would be able to probably do it if you wanted to.
I mean, that's up to Westlin if he wants to, do that.
How does Rinzu feel about that? I think is the better question.
I mean, that's his choice if he wants to go or not.
Well, how does Rinzu specifically for the idea of does Rinzu want to stand on the stage with Westlin? Is that a thing that Rinzu wants to do? Because that's as much your decision as his. He's already wanted criminal.
Fuck it, why not?
So in that case, Rinzu, I need you to make a charm check against 3 difficulty. You get a boost dice as well, on top of the other boost dice that you get. You're very charming.
I know it's like I'm supposed to be good at this or something.
Holy shit! rolling out more
shit.
triumphs on charm checks with Westland. That's the fucking story.
It is the fucking story. Apparently, that's what this fucking shit is. I'm really good at charming him, and only him.
So yeah, he's into it. At this point, through all the magical healing and rest that he's been able to do, his leg is not good enough to be standing on, but it will be good enough for him to temporarily crutch it up. And so basically, you guys will kind of have to smuggle him. And it's gonna be a pretty tight race getting there because he's
It's okay. I'm sure somebody can help him stand on the stage.
that's also a thing. So yeah, that's a thing. Beatrice is going to get in contact with a couple of her friends and is going to see what they can't do about setting that mirror up. She's got some contacts and they might be able to get some stuff set up. So she might be able to get it from this end. Provided you guys are okay with that. And she can
I'm
also
fine with that.
yeah, she can also make sure that like things are good on this end and she can meet up with you again later. Is Lynn okay with that?
Yeah, he's fine with that.
Cool. So yeah, she's gonna get in contact with some of her friends and she's gonna wish you guys the best. And of course she's gonna like make sure that Westland isn't gonna get himself hurt. Like probably like making sure that his wounds are well dressed with like the other conversions and such. And outfitting him with some crutches as you guys will be able to make your way out. I imagine he would probably have to be very careful on the way out, but if you guys will basically have just enough time to get there. So conveniently, as you guys have the opal stone, God, it's a good thing you have that. Otherwise, you guys just show up late. You guys just show up late to the fucking speech. Sorry,
Sorry.
we got a cripple. Sorry, it's gonna take an extra sec. But yeah, with that in mind, you guys sneak out and out southwards across Legala once again, down to Brimrad. And as you guys pass through the thawing wilderness, as essentially it's the end of March, beginning of April, as you watch as winter turns into spring before your very eyes. You guys make your way down south to where it began, in Brimrad. The sprawling port town turned industrial center, turned slums in several ways. And once again, you find yourselves in one of the largest cities in southern Legala. In the throes of the festivals of Ash. It's been a year. A year since Delphine was taken. A year since the war began. And as you ride up to Brimrad, you see a lot of people. A very, very large amount of people are here. And as you were passing through some of the towns, by the way, you were seeing those posters. The posters announcing this rally that was going to be happening. They didn't mention you, by the way.
I didn't think they would.
You're going to be a surprise.
I'm a surprise.
Because at the end of the day, Etnie is a lot of things, but she's also a little bit of a showman, and having you just show up is going to be fucking perfect. And so the people that she needs to tell obviously know. And so I imagine you guys were able to send word ahead, and I imagine Ophelia will meet you on the road, like a day travel out, to make sure that you guys like can get where you need to be without being accosted or anything like that.
Isn't Ophelia already with us?
She broke off after you got to things to, because she also came with a couple of her dark flyers.
Oh, no.
Like she's got a couple of her people here too, just in case. And so she met up with you again after you guys left. And yeah, so she'll make sure that you guys can get to where you need to be discreetly. And all things considered, as long as you're okay with it, you're probably going to be brought like into some of the quieter recesses, and the rest of you guys would probably be able to, those who aren't going to be on stage would be able to just blend into the crowd.
Blending.
But for which I think is or those people who you're planning on having on
Stage. Yeah, I was just
On
making
stage.
sure I double checked with you that I had the right people, and that there wasn't somebody on my list that I didn't actually tell you first.
no, that looks about right. Cool, yeah. And so actually all of you guys, I guess, since all of you guys are planning on being on the stage, you guys will all get smuggled in to discreetly into the city. But you see, as you guys disguise yourselves and kind of walk your way through, there's it almost seems peaceful. You once again see Legolan soldiers and rebel soldiers with the peacekeeper corps and the others kind of all mingling in the same space once again. And there are all of the typical things that you would see during the Ash Festival. The different depictions of the gods and goddesses, fair games, icons of spring and summer as the seasons turn and the new year turns around, and it all seems peaceful. Yet there's something in the air, because there seems to be a lot more people here than normal. And not all of them seem to be wearing colors. And many of them seem to be mages. There are mages, there are non-mages. It's a big crowd. And there does seem to be an underlying tension in the air as you guys pass your way through. Between certain groups of people whom you assume are loyalists, and people who you assume are revolutionaries, and people who you assume are neutral. And so as you guys are brought to you guys are basically snuck into kind of the town hall, which is where there's like kind of been a makeshift stage outside of the town hall that's been set up. And you guys get your stuff in quietly there, and you have a moment of quiet before everything starts. You guys are reunited with the others. The others who are going to be on stage, which we have a list. We got Delia, Richter, John. Hang on, I gotta decide something for John. Yep. So Connor, something you would notice about John, he may or may not be sporting a new cape.
Amazing.
It might be teal. It might be teal. He might be making sure that Etney doesn't get herself killed. That might be a thing that he's doing now. George Shieldheart is here. And then obviously you guys, who all came with you, and Etney as well. And he's not going to be on stage. You assume that Colonel Orl is in the audience as well. And Delia, one of Delia's friend, and actually, Delia is going to be near the back of the stage because as you were coming in, another mirror has been positioned, and she's going to be keeping that alive. It's light magic. That would make sense that she'd be able to do that. So she'll be present well. And Connor, as you look around, you have a moment where you can talk to anybody or just gather yourself. Westland is kind of tenuously on a crutch, also balanced with Rinzu. Rinzu, he's a little wobbly, but I mean, he did just travel a really long distance. He can use a nice break after this. Luckily, there's some beds that he can sit down in after all this.
Ooh, Brent, talk to the ghosts of your parents.
Oh God!
All right, I'm gonna summon the ghosts of my parents.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, like it's just like in Harry Potter.
This is where he flips 2 destiny points to withdraw the Onyx Stone from his pocket, and he raises his. No, I'm just kidding.
Shh, don't tell them I have that.
And George Shieldheart looks to you, and he. Are you ready, Connor? You can feel your heartbeat.
I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Once you go out this door, Connor, there will be no turning. Are you ready? Are you sure you're prepared for what this might be?
I guess at this point I won't know until, well, it's happening.
And he nods, and Delia gives also looks at you, and she nods reassuringly as she goes. And another man wearing a cloak of the rebels peeks his head in, a man that you haven't seen yet. The crowd's as gathered as they're going to be, Etney. If there's a time for all of you to get going, time is now. And he looks over to you, and he nods, and he says, "Ah, good to see that you made it here. The name's Jack. I'll be far away from the stage. Don't worry about that. Good luck, everyone." And he'll retreat his head, and Etney looks, and she nods, and she's gonna take a step out. And as she walks out, you hear the crowd starts to cheer as people start showing up. And Connor, as you and the rest take your tenuous steps out onto the out onto this makeshift stage. You as you look out at the crowd that's gathered here in the massive town square, there are a lot of people. Scanning the crowd, it's hard to get a rough estimate, but you see crowds numbering in the thousands. And the crowd cheers at first as they see Etne come out. And then they see General Shieldheart. And they see you. And the cheering kind of calms for a second as everyone takes in what's happening. And in that moment, as you look out, you become painfully aware of the fact that you're standing likely in the exact same place that your parents breathed their last breath.
I'm sad.
And as you look out, you see faces both plenty unfamiliar and several familiar. You see the Legolan soldiers, many of their leaders here, the ones that Shieldheart was speaking with before, as well as Colonel Orville and his son Thaddeus. Orville, a portly, jolly-looking man, portly, wearing the white and green stand that he had Keeper Corps. And as you look out, you see some of the other Dark Flyers. And with them, no longer in chains, you see, along with the number of rebel soldiers, watching her until the end of the procession. Unarmed, you see Hermione Risewell, your aunt. And from across the way, from way across the crowd, you meet her eyes, her cold stare. As her eyes look to you, and they flicker to Ophelia. And they flicker to Etne. And back to you. And you see more out and about. People, nobles high and low that you've met in the past. Some that you've only heard of heard of or recognize their sigils or emblems, and many and more unknown folk amidst all of it. And as you look about, you see Jolene, the youngest child of the Donners, playing, kind of sitting on the shoulders of one of John's friends, a plain-looking farmer. As he smiles and Jolene waves at her father. And as you scan, your heart beating in your chest, I need you to make a cool check, Connor.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be against 3 difficulty.
Yeah.
So you're going to suffer 2 strain, which I think makes perfect sense. As the gravity of what you're doing kind of begins to set in. And as you guys take a tenuous step forward, Etni raises her hand to hush the murmurs and such that have kind of that have begun to swarm about. And you look out to the crowd. Which hushes. And silence fills the air. Only perforated by the shuffling and ambience of a crowd gathered in anticipation. And Etni speaks. Friends, sons and daughters of Saldeo, thank you all for coming here on this day. On this, the day of Ashling, the final day of a year of strife, uncertainty, of doubt, and of pain and loss. My brothers and sisters, I come to you today to continue a message that began 1 year ago. When battle rang out in these streets, and by my hand, Gavin and Camellia Haventree met their ends. But I do not come here to speak any more of loss. I do not come here to let flow more rivers of blood. Nay, I come here to staunch it. For the sacrifices that we've made, that all of us have made over the last year, have led us to this very moment. A moment that will allow all of us to reach out, to lay claim to our sins, to our mistakes, and move forward hand in hand as brothers and sisters of the world, of Orn, and to make this world a place worth living, a place that we can be proud to live in. I know I am not alone. In this desire. And that is why I stand here on this stage today. The men and women you see, some you may recognize, and some you may not. But we all come from many backgrounds, high and low, mage and non-mage, human and Togwell. That we stand here on the stage is a testament to the strength of Saldeo. That we can share a vision is a testament to the strength of our soul. And she looks over to you, Connor, and she nods.
Connor walks over and stands next to her, facing the crowd.
And as you prepare to speak, a voice calls out from the crowd. A familiar voice, albeit not an exceptionally familiar voice. Prince Connor!
Oh my gosh, she's adorable.
You can do it! And as you look out to the crowd, maybe 20 feet back, bobbing through the shoulders of people much taller than her,
Like,
you see the young mage that you rescued not much more than a year ago, Lisa. And she beams up at you as you begin your speech.
Connor takes a deep breath and looks out at the crowd again. A year ago today, my parents were executed on the very spot where I stand. The woman responsible stands next to me. A woman well loved and respected throughout Legala. With my parents' death, I was thrust into the political jungle before my time, well before I could be ready.
oh,
I had decisions to make, and people would die if I chose poorly. He takes another deep breath, but ultimately, I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about Legala in its future. Legala is a very unique place. There's no other place in the world like it. And not just because we have more mages than anybody else. While that might be unique to us, it's not at the core of what makes it special. Innovation's at the core of this country. Look at all the things that have been invented and created here. The spinning jenny, the cotton gin, mesotent. I could go on forever about the numerous inventions that our people have made to make life easier for us. other nations like Zodia might be strong. They hold fast to their traditions and belief. It's probably one of their greater strengths. Their own stubbornness allows them to thrive in places that, quite honestly, I don't ever want to be in. However, they won't even use the printing press, let alone other inventions. They keep themselves in the dark, out of fear of progress and their deep traditional roots. A strength and a weakness. Our neighbor to the north, Talam, condemns magic instead of seeing it as any person should, a talent and a tool that can be used for society. However, in the same breath, most people are equal there, rising to any rank based on their own abilities rather than who their parents are. Okeanos has no real identity of its own. It has its freedom and a roguish element. However, they even can give us things to learn from. There, it doesn't matter at all, mage or non-mage, shifter or human. Their biggest strength is their incredible diversity. We create wonders here, but we restrict ourselves at the same time. We need to take steps to fix our own problems, and once again, we can lead the world as the greatest nation on it. One of our first steps we need to take is releasing the loggers and the Togwell who live here from their own so-called servitude. This should be a country where every person is given the same rights, shifters and human. No more ignoring their plight. No more fighting for it. It should just be. People like Alexis Blackwild should no longer be able to hide behind influence or power while keeping other people oppressed and controlled. And of course, that's not the end-all be-all of equality. Mages and priests receive more opportunities than anybody else. While anyone can become a priest, I don't think it's fair that nobody else has the chance to better themselves. Ashling's priests educate, and we should broaden their classrooms to include everyone. Creating more avenues for people to receive the training and skills they need to be able to improve their own lives. Which is what leads me to why I'm making this speech here, and with these people at my side. He kind of gestures to the people on each side of him. There are deeper problems with both the nobility and the rebellion. The nobles have their blatant nepotism and arrogance and corruption stemming from both of those things. Everything with them comes back to bloodlines and elevating mages above everyone else. And look at the land that created. The rebellion is fighting against such evils, but it is a movement ultimately fueled by violence and anger. Just as in the nobility, there are rebels who are acting for their own power and self-interest. They want to swing a pendulum in the opposite direction. And neither seems the right way to continue. So, let us make a new way. One that is neither loyalist nor rebel. I've spoken to both George Shieldheart and Etney Mercer, and they feel as I do. The path we need to walk now is one of compassion. Seeing sides never helped anyone. There are good nobles and there are awful rebels. Nothing is clear-cut. But I hope to change as much of that as I can, starting today. So I'm asking you, the people, the lifeblood of Legala, to stand for change, but not for bloodshed. To fight corruption, not in anger, but in hope. To create equality and stop tearing families apart. Many of us here have lost so much. It's a darker Legala than it's ever been. While I was in Zodia, I met with many of its people. In particular, their Diviner College has a motto. when the night is dark enough, the stars shine out. I must admit I was enamored with it. It's such a beautiful way of saying when times are bad, the good is able to stand out clearer than ever. And I hope we can make those points shine, that we can give them the chance to shine brighter and brighter. Bright enough that we can banish the dark in Legala and bring in a bright new day. And I'm going to wait to see how said crowd reacts.
I need you to make a series of 3 leadership checks. The first leadership check is going to be for the rebellion and the rebel factions who are present and the sympathizers therein. So if you could make a leadership check, it is going to be against. Let's see. Is going to be against 2 base difficulty. You are going to upgrade it once because you are in fact the Prince of Legala. You are going to add. You're going to add 1 setback dice because, again, you are in fact the Prince of Legala. But you are also going to add 1 boost dice because you are a Haven tree standing here spouting things that they never expected any Haven. 2 boost dice actually. Spouting things that they thought that no Haven tree would possibly say. Except for probably Alstro. But she doesn't call herself Haven tree.
Yeah, I know my presence is low, thank you.
And actually, you know what? Since Rinzu is on the stage, I will let you use her presence so you can add 2 additional green dice.
You're welcome.
That said, most of the other people on the stage will have to say something, even if it is just a single sentence. And if he's to benefit from this, Kendra, you will have to say something.
Yeah, I know.
And that's yeah, that's all that you're gonna have for that.
So we're waiting for her to say something then?
Oh, not yet. No,
Oh.
that'll be after the
I don't
rolls.
Fucking say anything
Okay.
yet.
Well, you will, but the rolls are gonna happen first.
Oh yeah, I know that.
So yeah, that's the rebel roll. You can roll that whenever you're ready.
Wow.
Huh. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 advantages and a triumph, but it's a failure technically. Huh. That's interesting. Okay. No, I can work with that. I can work with that. All right. Now I need you to make another one. This one is going to be for the common folk, the people who are on neither side. This one is going to be against 2 difficulty, and you are going to add 1 setback dice. Purely because of the fact that this is still a drastic thing, but you're also going to add 3 boost dice because you are preaching of peace.
Oh my god!
Look at all these advantages.
Why
This
can
is-
they only have advantages?
This is actually kind of hilarious, though. And kind of fitting. And last but not least, I need you to roll one for the loyalists. This one is going to be against 3 difficulty. You are going to upgrade it once because you are sharing the stage with one of the most wanted women in Legala. You are going to upgrade it again for calling out one of the magisters directly. You're going to upgrade it a 3rd time because I'm spending a story point.
You're a jerk. I'm also spending a story point. How do you feel about it?
Good. And lastly, you're going to add 1 boost dice because you are in fact the prince. But you're going to add 2 setback dice because of the Yeah, 2 setback dice because of the others that you're sharing the stage with generally. Because there's 1.5 other wanted people on stage.
May I have an additional boost dice because George Shieldheart exists?
Yes, actually, I will give you that. That's entirely fair.
All right, see, I fucked this up now. Wow.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Three successes, a threat, and a despair.
I know I'm not supposed to roll like that!
Hey, you know what, Brent? Calm down. I'm sure everything will be just.
Why can't I roll?
And if
That-
not, it'll
that's
be my
a-
fucking
that's a
job to
pretty
fix
good-
it anyway.
That's a pretty good spread, on all things considered, honestly. And so there's a moment of quiet. And General Shieldheart takes a step forward, his armor clinking as he does. Prince Carr showed a great amount of bravery in coming here before everyone. A fortitude of character I've not seen in a very long time. If this alone is not proof that together, those who we thought would be enemies can join forces and build a Legala that we can all be proud of, then I don't know what is. I believe in the future that Carr wants to build. And I believe that we can all build it together. And Westland kind of grips your hand tightly for a second, Rinzu, and I too believe in Connor's vision. In a better home that he wants to build. One where people don't have to be afraid. We're all people. Human, Lagus, Togwell, whatever. Can be free and happy. That they can go where they want, that they can do what they want.
Hello?
That they can love who they want.
Hey, can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
And Rinzu, if you want to say anything.
So you have to say something.
Oh, I know.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. Can you guys hear me again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, my headset was being weird, and I realized I wasn't hearing anything. Sorry.
Ah, gotcha. But yeah.
After hearing what Wes had to say, she's going to look at him and smile. And then she's going to look out at the crowd. Being someone that was taken from their home a very long time ago. And she's going to pause for a second, trying to gather her own thoughts. Being bound by a contract. A decision that wasn't my own. I believe that Prince Connor will bring change. That Legala will. There will be a new Legala. Everyone will be equal.
And Anna will actually step forward too. I don't know about all of you, but a home where we don't have to say goodbye to the people we care about. Just because of pointless traditions that don't make any sense? That's a place that I want to call home. And damn it if Connor's not going to help build it. And Lynn, if you wanted to say anything, you have an opportunity. No, I don't imagine you will.
Absolutely not.
Similarly, Ophelia does not say anything. But Richter is going to. A world where people aren't discriminated against for standing up for what's right. People don't have to be separated from their best friends, from their brothers and sisters, for saving lives and for doing what you were too afraid to do. That's a Legola I could fight for. Etney. Etney steps forward. Once again. Oh, wrong one. So I will implore you, as Connor did before me, as all of these brave men and women have before me, will you take up the torch? Will you take up the hammer and help build a future for all of us? One that we can all be proud of. And slowly, the first voice join or to speak out from the crowd. It's actually Colonel Oil, the J man. He clangs his fist up across his chest. I believe in that kind of Legal. And I believe in Connor. Another voice, Lisa joins. I believe Connor. We should all believe in Connor. And slowly, like a wave, more voices add to the crowd. Not everyone, mind you, but many step forward, others fading back into the crowd. And slowly but surely, the crowd begins to turn. And Connor, that's when you see a number of dark figures on horseback, riding in through the far edge, down the streets. The people giggling as they duck out of the way, and as these black-clad make their way through, leading at the front is Minister Leon. And they ride through as that he came with, kind of the middle crowd, the crowd backs off, and they kind of make a brief circle around in it, down, looking up at the stage with all the people in it. And Minister Leon's eyes fall before they of course go to Westland. That is enough, he says. This farce of a rally ends here, and he dismounts from the horse, and he walks towards the stage, a serious face on his countenance, and he raises his hand up to the stage, out towards you, Connor. Your Majesty, clearly prolonged exposure to these individuals has poisoned your mind. No doubt, in no small part to the time that you spent overseas with your rebellious heretic of a sister.
You misunderstand. This is largely my plan.
His eyes widen for a second. My prince, you cannot be serious about what you intend to do. You understand what you're suggesting is treason.
The old way of doing things isn't working. And I'm not foolish enough to believe that Alexis Blackwild or Millicent would ever let any actual lasting change that means something happen. I'm trying to pull Legala back together without resorting to killing each other for it.
Magister Leon's hand slowly lowers, his teeth kind of clenching. Do you truly believe that, Connor? You hear a voice from behind you. And as you look up at the mirror behind you, you and everyone see Millicent.
I should have recognized your handiwork.
Well, you've made your intentions quite clear, Connor. And behind him, you see Magister Blackwild and a number of the mages and friends that Beatrice had captured by Templars, and the group being broken up. And if you truly believe that that's true, that I will not impose lasting change, then perhaps I shall be the first to do so. I believe I can speak for the entirety of the magistrate when I say that what you've done here today is high treason. And so, Prince Connor, it is well within my power of Legala. Clearly, you have no intention of claiming your seat as an emperor if you share a stage with criminals and traitors. Connor Haventree, consider yourself wanted for high treason, conspiracy against the state of Legala, and a myriad of crimes of which I don't care to bore our crowd with right now. If this is the path that you wish to walk, the foolish path that you have so many years ago, then so be it. You will meet the same punishment that she does. I hope you have fun with your coup.
Connor just kind of smiles and like leans towards the mirror a little bit, and why don't you come capture me yourself?
All things in their time, Prince Connor. I look forward to seeing you again.
Oh, so we're not done with lies yet then?
And she smirks and says, say hello to your sister when you see her. And she reaches her staff out towards the mirror. After all, she may be the only piece that you have left of your home. And she taps the staff on the mirror, and it gets a splinter right through the middle. And the image vanishes. And Leon looks down for a second. He turns back, his cape swooshing as he does, and he storms towards his black stallion. And he mounts up on it. It's treason then.
So you're totally that blind to the others.
Connor. What you are suggesting is fundamentally no different than anything that we've been fighting for so long.
I've never disagreed with the rebellion, but only ever disagreed with the method. No one should have to die to be able to live a better life.
He shakes his head. People are much more complicated than that, Connor. I pray that someday, soon, you will see reason. Perhaps then we can bring this war to a conclusion.
It doesn't have to be a war.
Unfortunately, Connor, another voice calls as another figure steps into the ring that is cleared to make way for the Dark Knights. As your aunt walks into the circle, her eyes flat and emotionless.
There's the despair.
That's precisely what you've just done. I'm glad that Camellia did not have to be alive to see this. And she turns away. She makes her way back through the crowd towards the rest of the Dark Flyers. Hermione! Ophelia says. Please! She stops for a moment. And then she keeps moving forward. Hermione! And she retrieves her things from the rebel soldiers, as per was the agreement. And her and the other Dark Flyers fall into formation behind Magister Leon. She casts one last glare. To you, and then past you. Up to Ophelia, who's gritting her teeth. Still calling out her name. And following in behind her, and the others are some, not all, but some of the Legolan soldiers. No one wearing any of the Peacekeeper Brigade stuff. Though pick odds or evens.
Evens. My life is hell.
Though as you look at the other leaders of the military, I get the right one. Colonel Jared, the leader of the cavalry, has mounted up and rides off with Magister Leon. Colonel Charity remains back with Colonel Orville. Ophelia looks to you, Connor. And she looks off to Hermione. Let's see what she does here. She sinks down to her knees. And begins to weep. But she stays. And as the loyalists depart, Shieldheart will come up behind you and place a hand on your shoulder. You did the right thing, Connor. I know it might hurt. Might be difficult. But you did the right thing.
I know. Just this isn't exactly what was.
And as the two of you stand on the stage looking out at those who remain, the majority of the crowd that still remains, you see the common folk. You see mages, rebel soldiers, and loyalist soldiers. All working together. Making sure that nobody was trampled, making sure that everybody's fine. And all working together. Things never go as planned. Not truly. This is something to be proud of. This is something that they would be proud of. And he kind of clasps you on the shoulder. I'm proud of you, son.
All right, that elicits a smile. You mean that?
With every fiber of my being. Damn lucky my ancestor decided to save your ancestor's life so that I could share the stage with you someday.
Huh. I had a similar thought.
That said, perhaps we should find you a seat. Your knees are practically shaking.
Yeah, I would definitely like to sit.
And he'll take you by the shoulder and he'll lead you off the stage. And in this quiet, calm before the storm, a new year, a new chance to make a better world. We're going to call it for the evening.